Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to a Some Assemblage Required video, which is combined today with both Scraptember and Mixed Media Mayhem. Today's Scraptember prompt is scraps, as well as the Mixed Media Mayhem prompt includes scraps, splatter, and texture paste. And I am using a bunch of products from Some Assemblage Required. Some are from the shop, and I think some are from the embellishment box that are also, the box is a bundle that you can get in the shop. So I'm starting with this Dusty Attic chipboard. This is from the shop. I don't know if she has it in stock right at the moment, but it is a new product, but she just did her release this week. And I know she has sold out of a few items. But anyway, this, excuse me, little set of trees is super detailed and super difficult to get out of this chipboard. It's actually not too bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But the key is, don't try to punch it out of the chipboard. Just try to break the chipboard away from the trees so that you're really leaving behind the good stuff and just working your way at chipping away the bad stuff. Sorry guys, I have a tickle in my throat. Okay, so I am using an X-Acto knife to chip away at it, and it is a Fiskars brand. It's not X-Acto brand, it's a Fiskars brand knife, and it works really well. And the fact that the blade is really thin helps, because I also have a ceramic bladed knife. Oh my goodness, my throat. I also have a ceramic bladed knife, and the blade is a little bit thicker, and it makes it really difficult to use on the chipboard because it's too fat. So I thought I would go ahead and do several layers of trees, and I am starting with this stencil. This is a stencil that I got on Amazon. I don't even know who makes it, but it is I think a home decor type stencil. But I am just using it for the trees. I'm ignoring the bear, and I am ignoring the birds that are flying in the sky. I am using some Rustic Wilderness ink or Distress Oxide ink, and some Forest Moss regular Distress ink. I am tapping off the brush over where I know the photos are going to cover it, because when you first dip it into the ink and then put it on the page, it's got a lot of ink loaded up into the brush, and it comes out with a darker impression, and I don't want that to show. I want it to look more blended. And so I am tapping it off over where the photograph is going to hide it, or I'm starting out on the actual stencil and rubbing into the paper area so that it doesn't show that. And I really like the way that this is coming out. I like these trees. I think they look really cool. I am going to end up layering more, but for right now, I'm going to leave it like that and just kind of live with it there while I think about what else I want to add to the tree area. I've pulled out, obviously, a ton of green scraps. It's obvious they're scraps. I mean, look at, they're all have things punched out of them and different shapes and circles and hexagons there. But I am just going to go ahead and use them and tuck them behind my photograph. I'm not even going to cut most of them. Okay, and then I didn't want to waste that ink that was on my stencil, so I just added a little bit of water, and I'm using a fan brush to tap it and tapping it off onto my page. The fan brush is going to make my splatters really small because it's the brush is fine and doesn't have a lot of like bristles clumped together. And then I am going to use some texture paste, and I'm going to apply it to these trees using a foam ink applicator pad. And this is like quickly becoming one of my favorite ways to alter chipboard, because I find that I can tap it off on the edge just like I do my blending brush, and then I don't get any clumps in between the details of the chipboard. So I am using I think it's fern. Yeah, Fern Stencil Butter from the Crafter's Workshop. That's the one on the right. And the one on the left is Lime Zinnia, and that is paper glaze from Picket Fence Studio. I will try to put links to all of the products down below so that you can get those if that you're interested in purchasing any of them. They are affiliate links, so it does help me out a little bit if you do use my link. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but I do always appreciate when you guys decide to use my links. And, you know, it's not required, obviously. So I am actually using my regular old walnut stain, which is like my favorite brown. And I'm just tapping that off onto the tree trunks to just make them a little darker than the raw chipboard color. And then I'm backing my two photos with a little bit of white cardstock. I also did ink up that half of a piece of paper that you see there with all the green leaves. That piece of paper is from the Simple Stories Life in Bloom or Life in Full Color. I don't know. Collection, which MK and I used in the spring for our Kit Conspiracy project. And that is just a leftover half of it. I don't have a whole lot of that paper, that collection left because I did use most of it up. Okay, I am using a little bit of vellum to back my photos, and I think that looks really cool. This vellum is got a green hue to it, so I am going to go ahead and use that. And this layout does end up becoming a little bit monochromatic, not 100%, but mostly. And I am using the paper that I'm just adding right there is from Heidi Swap's Art Walk, and it's got some blue in it, which is perfect because the campers all have t-shirts in the blue. And I am swapping the two photos around mostly because I wanted the blank space to be in a particular area, the blank space on the photo, in case my embellishments were going to overlap it a little bit, and also because my husband is the one handing out the t-shirts, and then in the second photo they are wearing the t-shirts, so it's chronologically, you know, a little bit more accurate, even though it was probably only an hour or so in the time difference when the photos were taken. It's not that big a deal. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on pulling out a few other embellishments that I know I'm going to use. I am using the round piece that says camp on it there. That is a flare badge from Scrap and Happy Studio, but I believe it came in the box from MK over at Some Assemblage Required. It's from the monthly embellishment box, and it is a canvas flare, which I love. I think the canvas flare are amazing. They're like my favorite thing. So the other thing about them is you can flatten them out by running them through your like a Big Shot or some other kind of die cutting machine. So I just put it between the plates and run it through my Sizzix switch, and it comes out a lot flatter than when I first got it, and I love that too. So that was a little tip and trick I learned from MK, and I think it's a fabulous one because it means my layouts are a little thinner than they would be otherwise. I'm pulling out some dies now. The three that are individuals, those are from Momenta, and they were designed, I believe, for Hobby Lobby. They actually have packaging that has Hobby Lobby on it or HL on it, and you can't get them anymore that I know of because Hobby Lobby doesn't sell them anymore, unless maybe you can find them like on an eBay or something like that. The other two are from Tailored Expressions, and I'm cutting a few of each, or a couple of each, and some I am doing in the vellum and some I am doing out of this Art Walk paper so that I can layer them up behind those chipboard trees, and that's going to give me a lot of extra texture and dimension and make it look like there is actually a forest of trees standing there, not just a stenciled background and then a layer on top. So it's giving me multiple layers, and I'm really like the way that it ends up coming out, especially with those vellum ones. They've got, you know, that see-through property to them, so you can definitely see the dimension of all of the other ones when they're layered up, and I think it looks really cool. And putting them at different heights also helps, because that is, you know, the forest, the trees are all different heights in the forest, so might as well go with it. Okay, and then I am going to use my ATG to stick those down. My title is going to be Cub Scout Camp. You can see I've got the letters, the actual thickers up at the top of the screen. It's on the ruler hanging upside down there. And they are wood grain, so it's going to bring that wood grain color down into this embellishment area. And the word camp is going to be on that flare piece. So it's going to be layered right there at the bottom corner. And that is how I'm getting the title to be Cub Scout Camp, because you're going to read it right on top of that flare. And I like the way that that looks. These photos are, I believe, from 2007 or 2008. I still have some sitting here, so I have to look. But yeah, 2007. So they're quite old. And, you know, I am just that far behind on scouting photos, you guys. I don't have a lot of scouting stuff done from 2007 on, and so here I am working on it. And the crazy thing is, I have photos of my husband at the scout camp because he was oftentimes working. He did a lot of volunteer work for our council, and he ended up actually being the program director for Webelos Camp and for the Cub Scout Camp. But I don't have a lot of photos of my son because my husband was working. So at the end of camp, especially the Webelos Camp, my husband would end up getting all of the photos because people would share them with him. And I think out of over 1,000 photos, there's like 3 of my son. So I try to pick and choose what I think is going to be the best. And some of these are going to be just memories for my husband because I don't even have photos of my son in here. I mean, he remembers it and stuff, but it's not like he can go back and look at the photo and go, oh, look, there I am. He actually is probably in that bottom group photo, but you never know. He was really good at hanging out and not really hiding, but, you know, he'd be down at the archery range or whatever, and, you know, not with his assigned group because he was the program director's kid. Anyway, yeah, so I don't have a lot of those photos, but anyway, I've went ahead and I used a bunch of nature study from 49 and Market and pulled out some of the acetate leaves and then some of the mushrooms that are from the laser cut elements. And then I have also pulled out a butterfly there and stapled that on. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did use a couple of extra wood pieces there from MK's shop. As you can see there, I'll put links down below for that also. I think they're perfect for scouty photos or any camping photos. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy Scraptember. There's a link for the playlist for that down below. And I will put a link to the shop down below so that you can check out any of these products that you might be interested in. I will see you guys again soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.